Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dan, 5-star drone photography. I am sitting just outside East Palestine, Ohio, at the intersection of East Palestine Road and Constitution Boulevard, aka Route 51. And there's a stream running right along here, and I'm not sure what stream this is, but there's a stream right here along running in front of me. And there's a reason I stopped right here at this position to record this, and I'll get to it in a second. Now, I went back in East Palestine to follow up with my last drone video for an update, and I put my drone up. There wasn't much to see compared to last time. The tracks have been repaired. There were some burnout tank cars from the railroad sitting off to the side. Looked like being torn up by an excavator. And at an angle across the street from there was a bunch of blue chemical tankers. Look like storage, for the whole storage. And I say they're chemical tankers because they're plastic. Now, there's a couple of things I want to talk about in this video. Number one, people were talking about burning the chemicals. Number two, people were talking about the controlled release, which we've all seen the picture where it looks like a giant mushroom cloud. I actually thought it was Photoshop when I first seen it. It's not Photoshop, it's a real picture. And number three, this creek right here in front of me. This is an interesting part on this creek. So regarding the burning of the chemical, I spent a little over a decade as a volunteer firefighter, and I am a hazmat tech trained. So the guys that wear the big encapsulated chemical suits, yeah, me. I never worked for a hazmat team, but I did do the fire department stuff, and I did hazmat with the fire department. Now, burning chemical or fuel or gasoline in a large leak in the presence of a waterway is a logical choice, because you don't want that, whatever it is, chemical, gasoline, diesel fuel, kerosene, to leak into the waterway and contaminate the waterways. So sometimes burning it off instead of putting the fire out and then cleaning it up is a more logical choice. Yes, it sucks. Yes, it's a pretty crappy choice, but considering the alternative of having 30,000 gallons of vinyl chloride times 20 tanker cars leaking into the streams, getting into the Ohio River, and ending up in the Mississippi River, burning it off is a much better choice. Those of you not familiar with the United States, the Mississippi River runs right down the middle, and the Ohio River, which is very, very close to here, generally speaking, dumps into the Mississippi. The Mississippi is the largest river, one of the largest rivers in the United States. It's a major transportation route, and it ends up in the Gulf of Mexico. All that vinyl chloride could have ended up clear down in the Gulf of Mexico from here, clear up here in Ohio. Now, my question is, when Norfolk Southern decided that they were going to do a controlled breach, why did they do a controlled breach? Now, they said they were worried about the tank cars blowing up, otherwise known as a BLEVE, boiling liquid expansion vapor explosion. Basically, whatever's inside of a sealed container heats up, the pressure increases, the tank can no longer handle it, and the tank ruptures. And if you got something that's flammable, gasoline, diesel fuel, kerosene, vinyl chloride, in this case, it could lead to a boom. And that boom can be very, very bad. At the bare minimum, you can level a couple blocks. At the maximum, you can be blowing windows out several miles away. Just everybody get on the internet and look up West Texas explosion. This happened maybe 2010, 2011. I could be off by a couple years. There was a fire at a plant, and this plant, it was, what was it? Fertilizer, which was also used in the Oklahoma City bombing. So when this stuff went boom, it just devastated West Texas. And they had the same possibility to happen here. Granted, vinyl chloride is not used as an explosive, or at least that I know of. I'm not a chemical engineer. But that much flammable liquid turning to gas, going boom at once, releases a large pressure wave. What's my point of all this? Well, in the hazmat world, you got something where you can, it's called bonding and grounding, and you can transfer from tank to tank. So what happens is you stick a hose, connect the hose to your bad tank, in this case a rail car, connect it to a pump, from the pump to a good tank, in this case say a semi-truck. Then you can transfer the chemical from one tank to the other. The problem is this creates static electricity. A lot of it. Stuff moving from one to the other, rubbing up against each other, creates static electricity. Static electricity and a partially filled tank full of vapor and oxygen, and you get a spark, equals boom. Not good. So you connect the hose from one to the other, from one tank to the pump, from the pump to, or not a hose, I'm sorry, a wire, tank to pump, pump to tank, that neutralizes it, equalizes everything. And then you go from the pump to a copper rod that you have pounded in the ground over that a ways, 30, 50, 100 feet away, and you connect the wire from the pump to the copper rod. It's basically a lightning rod. So you go from bonded, right, so everything connected together, to grounded, connected to the copper rod and the ground. That prevents your static electricity. Turn your pump on, you go from one tank to the other. Now, the standard tank car in the United States can hold up to 33,000 gallons, US gallons of liquid. The semi-truck tank car, depending on the construction and the design, can hold up to 7,000 gallons of liquid. To make things simple, we're going to go 30,000 and 5,000. So one tank truck on a semi can unload 1/5 of a tank on the railroad. That is 1/5 of chemicals not getting exposed in the atmosphere. That is 1/5 of the chemicals not creating pressure inside your rail car. That is 1/5 of the chemicals not going to go boom. Why is all this important? Well, other than the fact it's getting released into the atmosphere, burning vinyl chloride creates, hydrogen chloride. Hydrogen chloride bonds with moisture in the air, creates hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid in the air then joins the water droplets. See that snow coming down? Joins the water droplets and comes down in the form of acidic rain. Acidic rain destroys vegetation. It gets in the water everywhere. It gets into the groundwater everywhere. It destroys your roofs on your buildings, on your house. It destroys your clear coat on your car. I will not be surprised to find out that big cloud that traveled, if you follow that cloud, you find dead vegetation everywhere come this spring. When everything starts blooming, I won't be surprised to find it. Flowers dead, bushes dead, trees dead. The insects, bees, that pollinate everything, dead. Mosquitoes, dead. Nobody likes mosquitoes, but bats rely on mosquitoes as well as other animals as part of the food chain. All of this because Norfolk Southern decided to blow it up. Why would you blow it up? Maybe they have a perfectly logical explanation. I don't know. I wasn't there. Maybe they have more information than we do. Probably. But you would think that something that's on the verge of going boom, or they're concerned about going boom, rupturing the tank, intentionally rupturing the tank, is probably not going to be a good idea because it's going to go boom. And as we've seen, it went boom. Look at the picture that's been on social media, the big mushroom clouds. I thought it was fake. I thought it was photoshopped. No, it's not photoshopped. It's a real picture. So what I would like to know, and what everybody else should be asking, they're asking the wrong question. They shouldn't be asking, why did you burn the chemical? They should be asking, why did you blow the tank up and not transfer it into another car? another tank, another semi. I have my suspicions, so take everything with a grain of salt. This is my personal opinion. For every second, every hour that wreck was sitting there, that rail line was closed. For every hour that rail line was closed, Norfolk Southern is losing money. Yes, comes back to money. Transferring all that chemical would have taken a lot of time. 20 rail cars, times that by 5 is 100 tanker trucks. You got to haul it out. You got to go store it somewhere. My suspicion is Norfolk Southern wanted that wreck cleared as quickly as possible so they can repair the track as quickly as possible, so they can get their rail line open as quickly as possible, so they can get back to making money as quickly as possible. All to the detriment of East Palestine, Ohio, the surrounding citizens and community. That is my personal opinion. And we have yet to hear anything from the governor, to my understanding, of Ohio. They've been very quiet. The EPA apparently has been very quiet. Norfolk Southern apparently has been very quiet. And I've seen a post, let me actually pull it up here, on Facebook. It was from Eon Valley Community Volunteer Fire Department. Basically, they received, go to their Facebook page, Eon, E-N-O-N, Valley Community Volunteer Fire Department. They basically said they heard from one of the senators here in PA, Senator Vogel, about testing. Norfolk Southern is also going to be conducting tests. However, they're going to be asking property owners to sign a waiver stating they are not responsible for any damage. Why you cost all this? Why would you not want to be? Why would you want people to waive their rights for damages? Well, coming back to the acidic rain, dead property, polluted waterways, they just don't want to have to pay all money. And speaking of polluted waterways, to the reason that I am sitting here specifically to record this video at this specific spot. A clip I seen from another reporter who was in East Palestine, I believe it was a couple days ago. He said he smelled a distinctive chemical smell. It smelled like burning rubber. When I was down there an hour ago, I didn't smell anything. But on my way into town, I did. Right at this spot, right at this intersection, I smelled it. It smelled like burning rubber, almost a sweet burning rubber smell. Initially, I ignored it because there were 2 semi-trucks that were stopped here, like right down the road here. There's a red light. I assumed that they either burned their brakes up or hit the brakes too hard and burned their rubber up a little bit because it smelled like burning rubber. On the way back out at this intersection, when I hit this intersection, I smelled it again. There is no possible way that lingering brake smell from a semi-truck that would have been down there could still be here with the wind blowing. I think it came from this creek right here in front of me. The creek right here in front of me. Now, I don't work for the EPA. I don't do testing, nothing like that. But I wouldn't be surprised if the EPA were to come here at the intersection of East Palestine Road and Constitution Boulevard at Harry's place and test this water. They don't find chemicals in it. Folks, I don't know what to say. All over in China, they're calling this, well, what is it? America's Chernobyl. Yeah, America's Chernobyl. Imagine that. Well, this is done. Firestar drone photography. At the end of this clip here, right now, I will share the video that I took of the drone and the pictures of the drones. Like I said, there's not much to see. Most of it's cleaned up. The track's back open. In fact, the train actually went through when I was sitting there. I did not get the train on video because I was just getting the drone out when the train come through. But the train was sitting. The train did go through. So the tracks are open. Reach out to your congressmen. Reach out to your senators. Find out what's going on. Especially if you're local. Don't sign any waivers, waiving any rights. Because you could have roof damage. Damage to your clear coat on your car. Damage your surrounding vegetation. Your waterways. Your drinking water. Your groundwater. All because Norfolk Southern. And especially because they decided to blow it up. Once again, why they do that, I don't know. But I'll see you guys next time here on Firestar Drones.